Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Link to the Past Randomizer League play. Tonight we got a good matchup between SirLinkalot and Sawneyrath11. I'm Lumaga, one of your commentators, and my co-commentator here tonight is Tracy M. How you doing, Tracy?
Doing great. Looking forward to some Link to the Past. So, Ambrosia's night, huh?
Ambrosia, yeah, we'll get into what all those settings mean. What are we looking for tonight between SirLinkalot and Sawneyrath? Because I see that Op Get Good, SirLinkalot's team, has 6 points here, and Super Salty Dungeoneers is still searching for their first win, but may get one tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, so the Op Get Good team, they are 2-1. Do have a loss. Super Salty Dungeoneers are 0-3. So they are, as you said, looking for their first win today. Could happen. Don't really know a whole lot about Sawneyrath. I do know SirLinkalot. He was in the tournament. I don't believe he made brackets, but certainly anyone making it into the group stage of the tournament is someone to be reckoned with. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Definitely. So this is a matchup between two of the teams in the Dark World, and it's the Village of Outcast division. A lot of other good teams, so I'm definitely not surprised that both of these teams have less than 2 wins or less, rather. And this being the second week, this would be their 4th game apiece, I believe.
Yep, that's right. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Ambrosia. Of course, by now you're probably sick of hearing us talk about it, but in case there's somebody new in here, Ambrosia refers to a very specific set of settings where we start with essentially standard mode with a sword. But there are a couple other little quirks. The uncle will give us a hint for the boots. It's kind of similar to the silver scent you're used to with Ganon. And this one is very specific. It's going to be in Thieves Town. Whereas sometimes you get the boots are in the light world, which covers a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, having it in a dungeon that is accessible pretty early in the Dark World and only has a few items, Thieves Town only having 4, many chests are easily accessible. You could see these runners go straight for boots as soon as they get the Dark World.
Yeah, very, very likely, especially if Thieves Town is a crystal. But even if it's a pendant, a lot of people like to dip it anyway, so probably going to see very early Thieves Town checks.
There's one more change in Ambrosia mode is that every dungeon will always have the boss containing a item, not a dungeon item. So it will never be a small key, map, or a compass. It will always, or the big key in the case of like Mothula, but it will always have an item in the item pool.
Yeah, absolutely. And that does very interesting things to the races because it's kind of a double-edged sword. If it's, say, Crystal Hera, you find that first item, there's a whole lot of items you can skip, a whole lot of chests you can skip on the way up. On the other hand, if it's Pendant, fill in the blank, or even Pendant Hera, now you know if you want to get that second item, you have to kill the boss. And a lot of times we don't want to have to do that. We want to just leave after we get our items. Okay, haven't been paying attention. I haven't seen any drops. They are looking for bombs so they can do the back of escape area sooner. Oh, some blue mail. That's nice.
Early blue mail is nice. You definitely want either health or the mail, so we'll take this. And just a quick note about this mail. It turned our green can into a blue Pepsi can, so I believe it was like Sprite first. Interesting Sprite choice for Sawneyrath.
I do hope we get red mail because I want to see what the next upgrade is. Oh, and there's a bomb in SirLinkalot, but he says I am going and I'm grabbing that right now. So that is the... I must have missed a whole bunch of drops because I believe that's the 6th drop. If you start with a small magic container, you're going to get that single bomb drop. This is definitely not the bomb prize pack, which is just all bombs all the time. There is another prize pack that starts with a heart and then goes to a fairy, as opposed to 2 hearts in a row. And that gives you a 8 bomb drop, I believe, at the 5th drop. So...
yeah, there's several different prize pack varieties, and a lot of the top tier runners have all of those memorized. I'm just happy if I find a bomb. I couldn't tell you what is and what. But
Oh,
we
and
do know that we have a Master Sword out of Zelda
nice.
Cell, so nice.
Yeah, to be honest, the only ones I know are those because they're relevant to standard mode. The rest, yeah, whatever. But in a lot of NMG situations, knowing those prize packs can help you a lot. Okay, now this is pretty, pun may be partially intended, pretty standard at this point to, not a whole lot of differences here. We will get the light cone to go to the back.
Yeah, in this type of setup, it's really just an execution battle in the first few minutes, because the routing is going to be absolutely the same in a standard mode. But if you have precise enough movements and you're able to find an early bomb and not have to kill too many enemies, you can make your way through escape in about 6 minutes, if you're fortunate.
Yeah, SirLinkalot's going to take a bit of a lead here, having already picked up that bomb. Sawneyrath's still going to need to find a bomb. We'll have to kill more enemies to do it. May or may not actually know that they are in the bomb prize pack here, but fortunately, the ropes, the little snakes that we're about to see, they're always in the same prize pack as the soldiers. So we'll probably see more bombs there.
Yeah, and if you don't find a bomb in a standard mode setup, and you have something like your glove in there, you have to go all the way back from the front of the castle in order to get back. So definitely want to find a bomb early if possible.
Yeah, and there Sawneyrath gets that bomb, so we're fine. I mean, even if it's not a glove back there, and I have seen a few Cs in the last few days that have had gloves there, you really don't want to have to worry about coming back here later, even if it is with the gloves to make the quick check. It's just one more thing off your list at the beginning of the game. It's just so much nicer just to have already done it.
Yeah, and it's a room with 3 chests in it, so it's always going to be top on your list once you can get access to it anyway. All right, today, what do we got back here in the back of Escape? We got a map, which we haven't seen yet, 5 rupees, and single arrows, so a bunch of junk.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they don't have to go back to grab that, because that's would have been a whole huge waste of time for those items.
Mm-hmm. So even with that, both of these runners making good time. Gonna get just north of a 6-minute escape, and we'll be able to do, Kakariko shortly after.
Yep, and they will check this last chest. We've already seen the map, so there will be an item in here. Not a very useful item, but money never hurts this early.
No, and they did get 300 rupees, and so just inching their way forward to Zora money. They're going to need, a few spots early on where they need money anyway, like the bottle vendor. So good to have some change.
Yeah, and we are back down to 0 bombs, so they might as well invest in some of those if we don't find some more soon. And that tree pull not helping us any.
It's a nice grab, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're never in the right place for fairy drops like that. Okay, I did not. Okay, it's bombs. I was about to say I did not see it on SirLinkalot's side. I don't know how he saw that it was bombs, but I definitely saw it on Sawneyrath's side. So we're not gonna kill Aga for the item for sure this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how he saw that. That was maybe the bottom pixel or two, and he was able to determine.
Yeah, must have seen that little bit of blue. Like on a heart piece or a rupee, I think it's pretty easy to see. Oh, there's a nice tree pull.
Yeah, 80 rupees out of the, was that tier 2 tree pull?
Yeah, I have a hard time. I'm not sure which tree pull is. Oh, and a book, so we might be doing desert early. Yeah, I know the different tree pulls have to do with damage and enemies killed.
That's right.
I don't know where either one was in that, so.
Oh, and
Oh.
Linkalot is going to take that book and go check what's on the pedestal
All
immediately.
right, chat. We're gonna get our early ped check today. And just a piece of heart.
Yeah, naturally. Well, that's good news because now SirLinkalot can keep that off of his mind. Will not have to focus on any pendant dungeons unless he's really searching for an item, which a boss will have in Ambrosia.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little less advantageous to have that knowledge in Ambrosia just because you know the boss is going to have one of your items. Whereas in a regular seed, you know, you get your 2 items from Skull Woods, and you know it's not a ped seed. If that's your pendant dungeon, you just move on.
That's right. Now, Sawneyrath did pick up a bottle in somewhere and went to check Sick Kid, so nothing there just yet. SirLinkalot diving into the well without bombs, but does pick up a bow, and so we got a bow, we got a book. You've got a choice between 2 possible dungeons you could go to.
Oh, I was about to say we didn't have a map check. We just got a map check. Didn't quite get the chance to see it, but I do think we saw some crystals in both locations.
So I did see Eastern was a pendant and Desert was a crystal, but I didn't see what Hera was.
Okay. Mystic Eastern was a pendant, but I should have figured it would be because bow and well, it means we'll probably find a lamp too to put it completely in logic to try and bait the runners over there. Because that just seems to be what the game likes to do.
Now, you mentioned lamp. Lamp is something I would actually prefer not to see having this Master Sword so early, because that could lead you up to Aga as your Dark World access.
Yeah,
Got plenty of time before that happens, though.
I personally don't mind an Agaseed, especially if it points me to it. It's just so long as it's an actual true-on Agaseed, because you can get a bit of an advantage by doing that early if you're right about it, but can really lose some time if you're wrong. And a nice hook shot there.
A couple of key items here in Kakariko. So we got a bow, we got a hook shot, got a book. This is a pretty good seed so far. And it was a 6 crystal on Hera.
Nice. We're just a hammer or a mirror away from being able to do that. Okay, SirLinkalot gonna go back to get this last chest over in the well.
We'll also need a glove or a flute in order to get up to Death Mountain.
That is correct. Those would help. Yep. Lack of bombs walking into Kakariko Village does make a little bit of weird routing. So SirLinkalot having not decided to buy bombs right away, taking a little bit longer in here as he had to double dip the well and had to wait to go here into
That's right.
Blind's hut.
Sawneyrath started at the south side of the town to search for bombs in the tavern and then ended up buying bombs anyway, whereas Linkalot chanced it on those first 2 entrances. All right, and Sawneyrath going immediately for the race game. Not a bad call. Having found only a few items just means that there's maybe a higher chance that something important is here. Today just bombs, but he's going to fill up his inventory.
Yeah, bomb's not a terrible thing to pick up this early. We do use a lot of them. Maybe not quite as much as if they didn't have the sword, didn't have the hook shot. Having to do mini Moldorm Cave with less than full bombs if you don't have another weapon can be a bit of a pain. But we don't have to worry about that here with both a Master Sword and a hook shot. SirLinkalot gonna save a little bit of time. He's gonna check this item and no doubt gonna save and quit out of it.
Right, no need to overfill on bombs. Sawneyrath now headed into the dam location, getting his hook shot out and doing a nice clip to not have to dip this entrance twice.
And the way he did that clip was pretty neat because he didn't even have to move the other block.
It's little things like that that'll give you a slight edge in Rando. So any of those those tricks, you know, they're worth learning just in case you're able to pull them out. Taking the book straight to desert. So it looks like we'll get a ledge, maybe a Nagina check, and then we'll get the desert palace check.
A lot of times when you get the book this early, that this leads to something often just on the ledge. Now let's see which way Linkalot goes. Looks like he's going to do the more traditional route, going over to the mini Moldorm cave.
Yeah, this is a choice between density and following the logic. So here we're going to see what 5 items plus maybe Ice Rod Cave, and then you could fake flipper over to the lake. Versus, well, the seed might be telling you to go to desert, which
Yeah,
Sawneyrath is going to hold off on.
he saved and quit out of Agino, which is a little surprising. Oh, there's a fire rod. That's a nice item to pick up. That actually puts everything in Eastern Palace in logic except for the big key chest. So unless the big key is there, the full dungeon could be in logic in terms of all the items.
Yep, and we just have to find those 2 before we know we go to Armos. So Sawneyrath's going to follow along, get his red boomerang and fire rod out of mini Moldorm, and Linkalot is headed over to Ice Rod Cave. Also, probably a good choice at this early, not having, you know, found. I don't know. You found a fair amount, but I've seen some runners occasionally abandon Ice Rod Cave until later.
Yeah, and sometimes that really hurts you. And Linkalot just the runners are just a glove away from being able to complete Desert Palace.
That's right, having that fire source and the ice rod in its vanilla location.
Nice.
Not Laser Bridge, but the Ice Rod Cave. So very nice.
Yeah, no ice rod hunt today.
All right, so early fire and ice rod, which probably means, you know, TR is a bust.
Yep.
It's just how things work here.
And SirLinkalot going to do some fake flipper action. Has the money for Zora. Maybe he's going to check that out. Or maybe just, let's see, going to check out the Lake Hylia Island. And just a heart container. We're not coming back for that.
So we'll get a hobo check, and then Sawneyrath save and quit again after Ice Rod. So maybe looking to start clearing dungeons or make the Eastern play.
And I do really like this play to go to the hobo with the fake flippers early. It's not an easy spot to route in at any time during the seed. It looks like SirLinkalot's going to continue that fake flipper and probably going to take it over to Zora. Unfortunately, not going to be able to do the checks at the Waterfall Ferry without a Moon Pearl. Possibly if he gets a Moon Pearl and knows how to do splash deletion, he can get it later. Or if he gets... oh, nope, just going to flipper back over, maybe heading towards Eastern now to see what that bow gives us.
Yep, taking the other entrance to the Eastern area on the other side of the lake. Today, Sawneyrath tells us that Green Pendant is Thieves Town, so
of course it is.
There too.
Yeah, I'm very outspoken of the hatred of pendant thieves. Because it, just there's never anything to point you in that direction that say, hey, Thieves Town, because it just opens up so quickly as opposed to a lot of the other dungeons have certain requirements to get there. And hey, I've got these requirements to go into this certain pendant dungeon. Maybe it's got something for me.
I don't really feel bad about clearing Thieves Town, Pendant Thieves Town myself, just because it's a shorter and not really as difficult dungeon. You don't feel too bad unless there's only like maybe arrows in all 4 chests.
Yeah.
But this time having a green pendant and the boots, it's worth a dip at least.
Oh, certainly the front. Whether they go to the back may depend on where those boots are. Are they in the front? And maybe, you know, is it a 3-item front or a 0-item front or somewhere in what is it in between?
Yeah, you could end up with boots on blind in this case too.
And both runners going to go ahead and dip Eastern.
We didn't call it out, but the Moon Pearl was in the back of Sahasrarah's closet, so once Sawneyrath does decide to go up, if he fake flippers, could do the waterfall checks.
Yes. Yeah, and maybe the SirLinkalot was waiting to have flippers or Moon Pro in order to be able to do that check as well, rather than doing the Zora play right away.
Right.
Zora really isn't in logic until they get gloves or flippers, so even though you'll see a lot of runners will do the fake flipper over there. Also, always nice to have that hook shot to get that chest that SirLinkalot just got.
Yep, saves you a couple screen transitions.
Oh,
That was
Sawneyrath
some
doing it.
tactic.
Yeah, I have not seen that setup for that before. That was pretty cool.
All right, so we did get the, we found one item and we found the big key. So looking for one more item, maybe in the big chest, and then we know the last one would be on Armmost. This is fully in logic.
Yep, we got the fire rod to light the torch to get to the Armmost Knight, so yeah. Don't even need to bother with the big key chest.
All right, didn't quite hit the torch to light it up, but does take care of the Igor in the dark. Just has to make his way through. And with a second Igor and all the popos, not always so easy, but he makes it through anyway. Just a quick stock up on the arrows before the Armos fight. Not having the silvers, this is going to take 3 arrows apiece, and you don't want to run out because then you're stuck stabbing it with a sword, and that would take a long time on Armos. All right, down in the corner, setting up for a quick kill.
Yeah, I've not seen that setup either. But it's it very nice.
Very nice, yeah, and I think it was just the opposite setup from what Linkalot did. So
Yep.
Both these runners with really good execution on the Armos fight get a pendant, but no progression out of there.
Yeah, Eastern pretty much a bust. It's so often that bow is leading you to something in pod, because there's so much more bow locked in pod than there is in Eastern. But since they both did it, they're both going to feel bad about it. But in the end, they'll find out they both did it, and neither lost time to the other.
Yeah, almost exactly same time, and looks like they're both headed back south. Could get the Desert Palace play. We didn't even get a ledge check, which, as you mentioned earlier, was fully in logic. So interesting to see if something nice was up there.
Yeah, they'd probably want to find some gloves there. That way they can just go ahead and full clear it. Either there or in the dungeon itself, assuming it's not a boots lock dungeon.
That's right. We may have to go back here after our boots and thieves down.
And SirLinkalot probably going to go ahead and check Agina. He could do it before or after. He's got the bomb selected, so I think he'll do it before.
And there's your gloves on the ledge, so you can go ahead and take it. And Desert Palace has just two items in here, so you'll find one. As long as the big key is not locked up on the torch, or even a small key, you're set.
Yeah, there are situations where a small key there doesn't stop you, but this isn't going to be one of them because we do find a hammer. So we are not going to have to kill Aga today, but that does mean that there is a key on the torch, and big key or small key we can't get through.
That's right. But there's our Dark World access. With the gloves, we'll pick up on the ledge. So that opens up really all of the Dark World.
Yeah,
except for maybe
spots.
Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, no Dark Death Mountain, no Mire, and that's about it. Everything else we'll be able to get to.
So yeah, now you have a choice. You could either get up to Death Mountain. You have the hook shot and the hammer, so you could pretty much full clear it, except for the top of Spectacle Rock. Or you could go to the Dark World and start doing Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, or they could do Hype Cave, but normally those other choices, the Hype Cave choice or the Death Mountain choices, are probably one of the ones I would choose. But given that we know the boots are in Thieves Town, I think I'd go to Thieves Town and just see if I can find those boots.
Of course.
That just makes everything else that much faster.
And you got to imagine, you know, your opponent is going to head for the boots, so you're going to want to head for the boots as soon as you can.
Yeah, it sure does look like Sawneyrath is going to do that right now. And SirLinkalot saving and quitting, probably going to do the same thing.
And let's welcome everybody coming in from Speed Gaming. Welcome to this awesome Ambrosia race between SirLinkalot and Sawneyrath.
Yeah, still in the early stages. Haven't managed to do a crystal dungeon yet because, well, we don't quite have the items for them yet. Or, well, we do have a few now, but just recently got the hammer and the mitts in the desert area. Not the mitts, the gloves, to give us Dark World access.
So our other five,
I saw another pendant on Ice Palace. So.
And then our 5/6 in the Dark World is Misery Mire. So we do know that Turtle Rock is a crystal, and we've got all the items for Trinex, so that's something off our mind here.
We'll just need a medallion and the red cane.
Well, there's
a
blue
cane, but it's wrong color. And you'll see that the runners are heading straight over to Thieves Town. So for those of you that just came in, the boots hint did tell us Thieves Town, which is a nice boots hint, not just Light World or Dark World as we do see sometimes.
Yep, not much yet in the Village of Outcasts, so not going yet for the brewery in the south. Head straight for Thieves Town. So there's one of our 4.
Interesting that SirLinkalot's going to go ahead and do Skull Woods first. He can full clear this dungeon, and it is a crystal, so normally this is... normally I would think this is a really good play, but yeah, especially those boots turned out to be pretty darn early. I just feel like getting those boots really quickly. I might have grabbed those boots and left. Looks like Sawneyrath is going to at least check the other 2 items here, which is fine. Probably check the other 2 items and maybe Death Warp out.
Yeah, we know that one item is on the boss on blind, but there is one more item, could be in these front 2 chests. And I do agree that this play from Linkalot is a bit gutsy. This is a very early Skull Woods. All right, okay. So something in the back, maybe in the attic, maybe in the big chest, but still gonna go deeper into Thieves Town.
Now, there's got to be at least one more item because one of the items in the front has to be a big key. There's always going to be at least one item in the back. Just a map on SirLinkalot's side. Gonna Death Warp out of here. Pretty easy when you have 4 hearts. Yeah, this is pretty gutsy though. 4 hearts for Mothula. Not
4
an easy
hearts,
fight.
Master Sword. Yeah, not gonna be free. It's doable. It's a bit harder than the vanilla fight, but you can still do it.
Getting those magic drops helps because then he'll be able to at least use the fire rod, which is a nice weapon for Moth.
All right, SirLinkalot, 4 hearts, half of his magic meter, and the Master Sword against Mothula. Taking his time. Got to get those precise hits. Make sure you don't get hit by the spikes, and try not to hit Mothula back to the spikes. Patience is key here.
All right. Does it nicely and carefully, and does finish it off. Gets bombs for his trouble, but at least we'll get that first crystal.
Very nice. At just under 29 minutes, Sawneyrath must have found the third item up in the attic, because did not check the Maiden's chest and did not go to the big chest. So we're going to get a blind fight on Sawneyrath's end. Now, did pick up the blue cane in the chest game in Village of Outcasts, so if he does run into trouble in Phase 3, can always just cheese the last phase of it.
Yeah, he might be thinking about that right now, because only down to a heart and a half. And does finish blind off.
For the
And gets-
Titan's
Oh
Mitts!
my god. This is why I don't like Pendant Thieves Town.
I think I'm sold. I agree with you. Holy cow.
Because I would have left, I would have cleared out the front, gotten my boots, and I would have left, and it would have been a long time before I came back.
Yeah. So now the question is, does SirLinkalot feel the same way about Pendant Thieves Town as you do? Because
hope
if he
not.
does, it's going to be a long time before he gets those Titan's Mitts. Definitely going to get those boots out of Thieves Town, but we'll see what happens shortly thereafter.
Although the one good thing that can come out of that is, if you can find a way to make those Titans mitts his go mode, a go mode mitts is kind of nice, because then you end up skipping a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it funnels you into the last locations pretty quickly. Canis Samaria down in the pinball chest in Thieves Town, so there's our
nice
second
pickup.
item. Skull Woods, not Thieves Town.
Yeah, that is a nice pickup. That's another one of those items. Not as bad as the ice rod hunt, but when you're hunting for that cane, there's a lot of places it could be, because it's pretty deep in the logic before you need it. And SirLinkalot's still not going to go to Thieves Town. We'll get a bumper ledge check. Just a piece of heart. Not going to come back for that. Meanwhile, Sawneyrath is going to do the front of Skull Woods first. We'll get that Canis Samaria in just a second, and then we'll probably beeline it straight for Mothula.
Yep, and Linkalot heading back into Village of Outcasts, so we'll get our dip of Thieves Town shortly. And then Sawneyrath, I'm not sure if he'd be as comfortable as Linkalot going to Mothula with this setup, but let's see what he does. Found the one item, just picking up a key. Does not need to get anything but the boss at this stage.
Yeah, I could only assume that he wanted that extra key. That way, maybe when you get to the back part, you don't have to kill the Givdo to get the key there. It saves you a little bit of time that way. There, SirLinkalot gets his boots. Is at least going to continue checking the first chests.
Yeah, that's expected. What's going to be interesting is in the next 30 seconds if he decides to get out of here. Making his way towards the back.
Looks like he's going to continue.
May end up finishing this. You know, it's not just blind, it's also a green pendant, so it ups the value just a little bit more.
For sure.
I could understand doing this. At the same time, I could understand wholeheartedly not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Sawneyrath. 5 hearts, so 1 extra hit. He's able to absorb. A little bit more magic for his fire rod.
Looking good so far. And gets through it.
So 2 very good boss fights from both of our runners so far. And actually we've had 3 on Sawneyrath's side. So, you know, this is quite a match. I was not sure exactly what to expect, not being too familiar with Sawneyrath, but
Yeah, same.
he is definitely showing what he can do.
Okay, let's see where he heads next. I think maybe a hype cave check into pod, perhaps. They can full clear it. Not quite completely in logic since we don't have a lamp, but I suspect that with the fire rod, they should be fine, both runners. Looks like Sawneyrath has other ideas here.
Maybe just starting the smith chain. You do have Titan Smiths now, and you do have the hammer. You could do a couple checks, and then I don't know, maybe route in. You could route in. No, you can't. I was going to say you could route in like Bombo's tablet, but they don't have the mirror.
Yeah, they could do a lot of these checks. Pretty standard to go south after Thieves Town. In this case, Sawneyrath decided to be faster to save and quit and run here than it would be to just leave straight from Skull Woods. Honestly, I don't know which is actually faster.
Yeah,
he's
now
gonna
you're
get
just
hammer pegs.
You're just optimizing, you know, slight movements, but it may very well be faster. Doing the nice dash, hammer dash. For some money, gonna give that up for now.
Okay, SirLinkalot finishing up his blind fight. We'll pick up his mitts and his green pendant. So pretty much the runners have done the same things. The only difference is SirLinkalot did Skull Woods, then Thieves Town. Sawneyrath doing Thieves Town, then Skull Woods. Is smart enough to do the dig game without the smith, because if you have the smith when you try and do that dig game, it's not going to let you do it.
And for the baby shield. But yes, you cannot do the game with. Do not do the dig game with a follower. Either the smith or the chest, purple chest. But heading back for the smith, gonna save the frog. No mirror, so he's gonna have to take the long route and come back after a save and quit.
Yeah, without the mirror, I don't love this play. Just because if he wants to go into pod, he can't do it. He'll have to drop the smith off before he goes into a dungeon.
Yeah, and you skip out on K45. I already mentioned you skip out on Bombo's tablet, so you know, maybe a better time to route this in, but who knows? Smith could have something really good on it. We were surprised by Titan Smiths on blind.
I mean, it could be the mirror. That's never a nice place for the mirror to be.
Ooh, no, that'd be a bad place, but it'd be a great play.
And to the comment of Ped is absolutely dead because it was checked. Like SirLinkalot checked it, what, maybe 5 minutes into the race?
If even. So we did find the book in Lost Woods, and we were able to check Ped right away.
And it is, if I'm not mistaken, a piece of heart. Sawneyrath, on the other hand, has not checked it, so... Yeah, that was a pretty lousy hype cave.
That's a standard hype cave, if you ask me.
And SirLinkalot says, I don't want that shield. That means I might get the big shield if I take that. So, or maybe just doesn't like shields at all. That's not uncommon for runners to skip those.
Yeah, if I'm forced to shield, okay, I'll take it. But if I have the option, I might take the fire shield just because it's helpful on, say, blind.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the fire shield. I'm not a big fan of the mirror shield.
All right, with those boots in the light world, we could do a couple of bonk checks. So bonk rocks was not much, and now We can also do the King's Tomb, having those Titan Smiths. But we'll have to save that for later.
Interesting. SirLinkalot also picked up the Smith, but is saving quitting out of Stumpy.
Well, there's an entrance to Hype Cave just outside of Link's house, so I'm thinking he'll route that in at a later time.
Yeah, probably going to turn in the Smith. Looks like he's going to do these boots checks. Then probably turn in the Smith, and then maybe save and quit to Link's house for the Hype Cave check. And the Smith's just making some money. I believe it's 10 rupees to get this, pay the Smith, so that's a $10 rupee gain.
All right, now we did find out early that the Desert Palace's boots locked. We do have the boots, and Sawneyrath's heading south, so I think that's where we're going to see next. Did find the hammer already in Desert Palace, so one item down, one item left on the boss.
It is a crystal dungeon that you can clear. There is an item on the boss because this is Ambrosia. But ideally, you'd want to route this in with Misery Mire, where you can just mirror to Desert and finish it off right away.
The thing is, though, you're going to start to head to some out-of-logic checks.
Yep.
You could dip pod, but then you are possibly getting into lamp-locked locations.
Yep.
Or you could dip Death Mountain, and of course you don't have the flute or the lamp to get up there in the first place. So this is okay.
I'm always for clearing crystal dungeons that you can clear. So this definitely would apply here. He's just gonna be able to go straight to the exit here, and go. Well, first grab the key. Had to find the big key because we did not find it before, and then he'll be able to go straight with that to the exit because we did find the hammer already. So the big key is going to be over here on the right side as he heads over there.
And SirLinkalot picked up the shovel a bit earlier. We get to finally see what's hidden under here, just a quarter piece of heart.
Doesn't even pick it up.
Alright, this big key is going to be in its vanilla location in Desert Palace, and head all the way to the other side of the dungeon, head to the back, take on Landmalus.
And hopefully for Sawneyrath it'll be something good on there. Yeah, SirLinkalot hasn't checked Hype Cave, so it's probably where he's headed right now, and we'll see what he decides to do after that. And to your point about those out-of-logic checks, a lot depends on just how comfortable you are doing some of those rooms in the dark. In Pod, the Rupee Basement is in logic with the Fire Rod. However, the Dark Maze and getting to Helmasaur not in logic, even though the worst room towards Helmasaur is the Turtle Room, and that one does have a torch. The rest of the rooms do not, so they end up not in logic unless you actually have the lamp.
That's right. And then for that turtle room, at least they do have the fire rod, which will light up those that torch that you mentioned. But you have to make sure that you have enough health to get through there and enough wherewithal to miss a few of those turtles before lighting that torch, because there's like 7 or 8 of them in there, I think.
Yeah, certainly enough to make it difficult.
All right, Linkalot heading towards the pyramid, and I would imagine after the top of the pyramid, he's going to check out either Catfish or Palace of Darkness, as we've been talking about.
Another place where you wish you had the mirror, because if you were to, with the mirror, you could go over to Catfish in the mirror and do all the flippers checks over in the Zora area. Maybe
right.
the mirror will be found in Pod, and you can do that afterwards.
What a Landmo 2.
Nicely
Or
done.
Landmo 1, for excuse me.
Well, it's
but,
a Landmo.
1 cycle. 3 of them, sure. Alright, Sawneyrath getting his 3rd crystal here with that crystal off of Desert Palace. Nothing of note hidden on Landmalus, but still gets a crystal. No, chat asking a little bit earlier. 2 Smith checks, 1 from each of the runner, and neither one got the purple chest. Well, it does become accessible, but they, didn't have a mirror to go get the Smith quickly, so they couldn't quickly get back to the Dark World. It makes perfect sense to abandon the purple chest at that point.
Yeah, the Smith chain kind of breaks down without the mirror. You really want to have that mirror to be able to do it all in that nice chain that we like. We also have the powder check that's right next to it. So if they get the powder, or if they decide to do fake powder, given if they get the mushroom, they could do it at that point. And Pod's so far not bow locked at all.
No problem having the bow, but yeah, there are plenty of times when it will be bow locked, and you'll be searching for that bow to get past the first chest.
It's just one of those things I often keep track of, just because the bow often leads to something in Pod, and so far it hasn't, except those bombs.
It didn't lead to anything in
No,
Eastern Palace either.
No, it didn't. So you're kind of thinking maybe it's going to lead to something here. So far, we've already found 3 keys and bombs. Unless there's 2 keys on this right side, we're not going to be bow locked at all. Except for the 2 obvious chests that are just always bow locked. And that's 1 more key. There always has to be 4 keys in the front. And that's a flute.
There's our flute. So
there's our bow locked item. There's the item the bow is getting us.
And with that, I just wanted to take a quick stock of what we're at for a go mode setup. So we'll definitely need to see some medallions, at least one of them. We don't know what Mire or Turtle Rock are, but now we do have that flute, can check out the Mire area. We need the flippers to get into Swamp Palace, and
the mirror.
And the mirror, and that'll be it.
Technically, we need a lamp too, but it's often thought of as more of a suggestion than a requirement.
I think as long as these runners can get through the dark maze in the basement of Pod with the turtles, I think we can safely say the lamp is, yeah, like you say, a suggestion. Actually, take that back. The Mire Dark Room can sometimes present a challenge.
Totally agree. That's to be honest, that's the one dark room I have yet to conquer. So I can certainly understand if anyone has trouble with it, but these runners are better than I am, so I have faith they can do it if they need to.
And Sawneyrath picking up his flute as SirLinkalot in the dark maze, avoiding those Kodongos. I did miscount how many items he's picked up, but I think we're down to the final 2 items here.
Oh, we got okay, don't know what that... Probably some arrows? That's one of the items that doesn't show up in the dark. Medallions don't always show up in the dark. Mitts don't show up in the dark, but we have mitts, and we did not see any medallions, so...
Yeah, my eyes went straight for the medallions, but I'm guessing it had to be maybe a small key.
No, there can't be a small key.
Oh, there cannot.
In the dark
That's
maze.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which is always a little bit weird, because the vanilla game actually does have a small key in the dark maze.
Gonna make his way back through the dark maze in reverse rather than death warping. Unless he takes the fire here. Does take the fire. No mirror, so that makes it a little bit longer to get through.
Yeah, interesting that we saw a death warp from Sawneyrath as well. Having gone over to that right side. Looks like maybe he's gonna check the big key chest. Nope. Just gonna follow where he was. Maybe that wasn't meant to be a death warp? Okay, looks like he's just gonna check the back first. Okay. And, we continue to be fairly low hearts on these boss fights. So this is not exactly the safest we can be on Helmasaur.
No, we have not found a whole lot of hearts throughout the seed. We had to do a very low percent Mothula, and the rest of it hasn't been too bad, but now we're getting into some more difficult areas of the game with just, 6 hearts and the Master Sword?
Yeah, and, blue mail. At least we have blue and not just the standard green.
Linkalot heading to the basement of Pod with the turtles. I would expect to, pulled out his fire rod before entering the room. There are 2 torches in here. Gets him so he can see these turtles and knock them down.
Oh, and Sawneyrath taking a death in the dark maze before he gets all the items. Still needs to get on over to that right side to get it. Oh, looks like he did get that flute. I missed when he did that.
Yep, did pick up the flute, and then on his way back around, took that death and got that death in Dark Maze. Now we got Helmasaur. 17 whacks with the hammer, and either a few sword spins or shots with the bow will take him down. Gets the mask off. Couple of swings, NMG strats from SirLinkalot.
Yeah, and shoutouts to our tracker Ed Omp, who did catch that Sawneyrath did indeed get that flute. So. Silvers. Once again, our bow-locked bow. Seen that a lot on V31 since they went to the progressive bows.
But in this case, since this was a crystal, you were guaranteed to pick those up, so nice to have silvers.
Absolutely, especially if we don't find another sword. Still a long way to go. Probably going to run into a tempered sword somewhere or another.
I mean, you say that now.
I do say that now. We'll see what I'm saying when they get to GT.
I come to a match last week where they had Fighter Sword through Aga 2 and spent 20 minutes in sword mode, so,
yeah,
stuff like that
I've
happens.
Seen those. I've seen those, and those are not fun. And Sawneyrath is going to go for the Death Warp to go back to the front and go ahead to go get to Helmasaur. Yeah, I do see some discussion about the key logic in Pod. It is not possible for a randomizer to put a key in that dark maze. I don't fully understand the logic behind it. It has to do with the location of the hammer and probably the fact, and as suggested in chat, the fact that you are guaranteed to have that lamp in vanilla.
Yeah, the way the randomizer will put the keys is such that it expects you to use them in the worst way possible in every dungeon. So it's a safeguard. I'm glad they have it there, because I'm sure I would have messed it up at least once.
And it looks like we're getting a mountain play from SirLinkalot.
Yeah, now Death Mountain is in logic, but this old man check is the one up here that is not. And just a quarter piece of heart, but does get the save point for later.
Yeah, because we can get up here with the flute anytime we want, but still can't see in the dark. There's no torches in there, even though it's probably the first dark room you learn. Probably the most important dark room you learn. So you can get that save and quit spot. And we're not going for that piece of heart. I mean, they've been turning down piece of hearts that are right next to them, so they're certainly not going to go for one in Spectral Rock Cave.
That's right. Linkalot dug up one in the dig spot and passed it up. So, intentionally just saving those 4 or 5 seconds by skipping those. It adds up. All right, so Paradox Cave, 7 items here. 2 on the top, 5 on the bottom, or 2 on the bottom, 5 on the top, however you see Paradox Cave.
Yeah, and you're gonna want to go ahead and do all the light world checks here first, unless you find a mirror somewhere along the way.
Yeah,
once you go
lest
into
you
the
get
dark
trapped.
world, well, there's our lamp. So I always love the logic here. So the logic wanted you to get that flute out of pod, and then come back with the lamp.
Yeah, it was suggested logic, but well, now we're back in logic.
But it will save them from having to do the difficult dark rooms in Misery Mire, so that's definitely a useful thing. Because even when you're good at that, it definitely will speed things up when you go there with a light source.
Finding a mushroom in one of those 5 chests, so you know, could quickly get the mushroom by fluting over to the potion shop.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see
wonder
what happens with that.
given they both have Cane of Samaria, I wonder if either one of them will do a fake powder check first.
That is a very good call too.
Okay, I did not
And
see what that was.
Linkalot must, have some sort of clairvoyance because that's the second time he's done that. Sawneyrath taking down Helmasaur picks up crystal number 4.
Actually, that's number 3 since we have quite a
Oh.
few pendants going.
Yes, those are 2 pendants down there.
So it does have the crystal lead because SirLinkalot has not yet done desert. Linkalot probably hoping to find the mirror before he goes over to the mire area, so he can just route it in then. Not what you want to see in that first check of Hera, though.
Yeah, you would have gladly taken an item in an ambrosia seed.
But at least we do get the big key. Don't have to go to the basement to get it. Not seeing a Hera pot from SirLinkalot here. Some runners will do it pretty much regardless. It is faster, so long as you get it quickly.
Yeah, if you have that big key in the first 2 chests, it's really beneficial to do Harapot. If it's in the basement, then you're doing a big gamble because you'll skip that big chest. Well, there's one on the boss, and there's one fire locked in the basement.
Oh, fun. So SirLinkalot's going to have a choice to make after he kills Moldorm here.
So, yeah, his choices are Spiral Cave to Dark World, Dark Death Mountain, or spend some time in the basement. I suspect he might actually skip it.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him. It's such a long check. It's a risk either way. You're either risking spending too much time for nothing, or you're risking leaving something behind.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Just which risk are you wanting to take?
Yep, the whole game is a bunch of calculated risks. So it's always interesting to see who makes that play and who doesn't. So Sawneyrath back in the Dark World Village of Outcasts. Wonder where he's gonna head to.
Purple chest, maybe?
Purple chest.
That does look to be his destination. And SirLinkalot decides, I am going to go ahead and check this. One of the reasons you might check it right away. Ask yourself, when am I going to come back here? And if the answer is never, then maybe you just do it. But routing Death Mountain in this situation, pretty difficult. He does still have to check the Ether Tablet. No, he would not have checked that yet. There's Spike Cave, and there's Spiral Cave, and of course all the Dark Death Mountain checks. Plus, we'll get to give us a preview of what medallion we need for Turtle Rock. And Purple Chest gets us a Tempered Sword. So very possible the SirLinkalot does not get that Tempered Sword.
Yeah, also having skipped Purple Chest early on, but what's in the basement today? So, like you mentioned, hard to get back up here. Do have to take the long way around all of Death Mountain without a mirror. But for 10 arrows, definitely not worth it.
Yeah, just a little bit of peace of mind knowing that you found the item. But yeah, definitely not the item you wanted.
Peace of mind might be worth it in and of itself, I guess.
So probably gonna see. Did he check the ether tablet and I miss it? He must have checked that already. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and route this into Spiral Cave, and then probably go and do all the Dark Death Mountain checks.
Yeah, I do believe he did get ether tablet, and Chad actually pointing out it was 10 bombs. So, yeah, I can imagine why neither of one of us remembered it.
Yeah, for sure. That cola can running is pretty funny looking.
I would love to see him get red mail just to see. I
want to see the red mail. Oh, it looks like he'll get it because there it is in Spiral Cave. Don't skip Spiral Cave, Sawneyrath, please. I want to see red mail.
So we've got everything available to us up here. Super Bunny, of course, all of Hookshot Cave, and even Spike Cave is available to us.
Yeah, everything but Turtle Rock, unless we find a medallion here. Now the question is, if you do find a medallion that'll open Turtle Rock, do you go do it now?
You have everything else. You've got the cane and two rods. It's your call, really, but it's a risky one.
Yeah, it's a little better on Sawneyrath's side just because he's got that tempered sword. A little safer try next fight. You're gonna have to come up the mountain again later, regardless. And a go mode Turtle Rock, not that different from a non-go mode Turtle Rock. Often not different at all, depending on the key layout. But that all said, it is really nice to be able to route Turtle Rock in at the end and go straight to GT from there. We do see a Bombos, which of course we don't have because we don't have any medallions.
Still looking for all those medallions. Now we do know which one of the two we need. One of the three. There's our Powder and Hookshot Cave. Along with a quarter heart.
Yep.
Another quarter heart.
Yeah, won't have to worry about saving that mushroom for a fake powder.
Alright, so powder's a nice safety to have, even if it doesn't lead to anything.
Absolutely.
Got to really watch those Lionels. He does have red mail, but is, fairly low on hearts and heading into Spike Cave, so needs all the health he can get.
And interesting, Sawneyrath going and doing the Spiral Cave check before heading over into Tower of Hera.
I was thinking about this too, is that Sawneyrath does have the option to save save Tower of Hera as the 7th dungeon. And then
could do that.
Mirror over to Ganon's Tower, and it's a very short trip.
Yeah, he doesn't know it, but there was nothing in Hera, so if he can manage to avoid it, that'll actually serve him really well.
There's our Coke can.
Yeah, one other type of cola. Lemon lime to one cola to the other cola.
Any preference on which cola?
I'll take the red one.
All right.
Not by much. They're not that different.
I don't know. People get into some heated arguments over why one's better or not, but we'll save that for another time. We are going to get our mushroom check, as we found that up on Death Mountain.
Yeah, very nice to do this when you have the flute. You just flute right over there to the witch's hut. And hey, that's kind of mean. You have to go all the way up to the mountain to get your mushroom, to get your bombos to go into TR, and there's no sequence breaking that.
No, but now begs the question: how quickly do you go into TR?
I don't, not yet. I can go to Mire. I can go to Ice. Well, actually, I wouldn't do Ice over a TR, Ice being a pendant. But I would at least check the Mire area before I would start heading over to TR.
And we get the waterfall check that we weren't able to do earlier for a Quake medallion and some arrows. So good to pick up a second medallion. Don't know what the Meyer one is yet.
So at this point, pretty much all we're missing. We're just missing that mirror.
I'm missing the mirror. Can't do Swan Palace without it.
And of course, depending on what the Meyer medallion requirement is. And Zora just with bombs. And SirLinkalot not going to grab them. And SirLinkalot is going to go ahead and do Turtle Rocket, looks like, because there's nothing else left here to do. A little surprised. Okay, no, sorry. He's got doing that for the flute. And doing what I would expect, going ahead and going to check the Meyer area. At least see how close to go mode he actually is. Is he just a mirror away, or is there something else that he needs to get?
Well, we picked up that Quake medallion, so we don't need any other medallions.
So just a mirror away. So the one good news for SirLinkalot, if he does decide to go ahead and do TR, and this might be the time he decides to do it, he will not have to worry about. Looks like, yeah, doing Meyer first makes sense. But if he does end up doing TR before finding that mirror, he won't have to worry about Mimic Cave, because obviously the mirror can't be there, and that's his go mode.
Of course, Sawneyrath did not go to the basement of Hera, so doing the gamble, and we know it works out because it's 10 arrows, but headed up to potentially do what, Dark Death Mountain?
Yeah, I would think so. Gonna go ahead and open it up from above, I suspect. Has already done all the light world checks. But yeah, we'll save quite a bit of time having not done that basement.
Floating Island, which we didn't see on Linkalot's side, was just 20 rupees.
Okay, we do see a small key as our first Meyer check. Meyer a little bit annoying in this mode because there's so many places the one item can be. You hope you find it early. You hope you find it and the big key early.
You do.
And there's the item, so we're good. But
just gotta find that big key.
You gotta find that big key is right.
And I guess you were right. You were mentioning Meyer is probably the right play, because if you do find the mirror, go moding Ice Palace is much quicker and more consistently quicker than, say, go moding Meyer. So if you're going to travel around this dungeon anyway, might as well do it first.
Actually, is Ice Palace not a pendant?
Well, we have a crystal marked on one and a pendant marked on another.
Well, even our wonderful
trackers
can make, even our wonderful trackers can make a mistake every once in a while, but definitely shout outs to them at AMP doing our tracking tonight.
Yeah, tracking is not an easy job. There's a lot of information to pick up.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't track.
Yeah, you're right. Ice Palace is our third pendant. So Sawneyrath getting Spike Cave, which I don't think we saw on SirLinkalot's end.
We saw it. I don't recall it being anything good. I think it was just a blue rupee or something. Yeah, just a blue rupee.
Yep.
But yeah, unfortunately for SirLinkalot, unless he gets that mirror here, he's not going to be able to combo this with Desert Palace. Probably going to go ahead and do Desert Palace before heading up to TR, I suspect.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't know that the mirror is not on Landmolus, right?
Right.
Well, we know that, but he doesn't.
We know it. He doesn't know that, and plus the benefits are not there anymore because there's no reason to be in the Mire area. It's
Yep.
maybe a little bit faster to flute and mirror, but not as much so as if you were already going to the Mire area for something else. And we know the mirror's not going to be in Checkerboard Cave because you need the mirror to get there.
All right, watch closely because in about 4 seconds we'll be done with this vitreous fight.
Yeah, Silver Arrow is being a very nice luxury for this fight. And just 20 rupees. And we did just see the powder check on Sawneyrath's side, and it was just rupees, I believe. So not really anything of use there.
All right, so done with Mire. Gonna save and quit no mirror to get over to Desert, but very easily accessible by flute. And then we got Turtle Rock as one of the last places for our mirror, although it could be deep in Ice Palace.
Yeah, not a nice thought. I can't imagine doing Ice Palace before doing Turtle Rock, since you can full clear Turtle Rock. Sawneyrath looks like he's going for his flippers checks. And SirLinkalot is indeed going to go ahead and clean up Desert. Okay, that soda can on its side for the swimming. That is awesome.
Floating down the river. Huge shout outs to the sprite development community in this in the randomizer community.
Yeah, the details we get on these sprites is pretty awesome. The real question I have on SirLinkalot's side, he does have a few overworld checks that we've only seen. I don't think he's done the powder check. Has not done the purple chest. Will he do those before heading up to Turtle Rock? I believe that's about it for non-mirror overworld checks, though. The Sawneyrath hasn't done the dig spot yet, but we know there's nothing here.
Yeah, I was also trying to think of what other overworld checks are, and I think that was about it. Sawneyrath going to 8 after a little bit of thought.
We can see the Ice Palace play?
Ice Palace play.
Oh,
Nope,
no.
nope.
He's going to do flips checks. This is good. I'll get him his Quake.
All right, so with Quake and Vamos, Sawneyrath now has access to both of the medallion locked dungeons. Going to check out Zora's Domain, which does not have anything of use. Just looking for the mirror at this mode. And Linkalot, equipped with the silver arrows as opposed to Sawneyrath's fire rod. Let's see how he handles Landmolus.
Looks like he's going to stick with that fire rod. It's a very nice quick kill on the fire rod as well.
Very nice demonstration.
But unfortunately gets the news that he only gets a 5 rupee out of it.
Yeah, crystal's a crystal. But no, he does not get that mirror off of Landmolus.
Nope. Okay, so we can do the other overworld checks, or are we gonna go straight to Turtle Rock? If he does do purple chest, he does get a tempered sword out of it. That's about it. Otherwise, better off just going to TR.
I think he's just going to go for the value.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. I could see him doing those other overworld checks before doing ice. We'll see. But if the mirror does end up being in Turtle Rock, SirLinkalot's not going to get that tempered sword. He might get another one elsewhere, but not going to get the one on the purple chest.
But Sawneyrath just got out of Misery Mire, or the Mire area, after looking at the medallion requirement.
Interesting. Maybe he feels like doing Turtle Rock first makes more sense?
Well, he did open up the menu, released a B, and now fluted to the potion shop. So just getting stocked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a good call. Go ahead and make sure you have those potions. Misery Mire can be a little bit rough, but he's got powder. I think he may be doing this more for the eventual Turtle Rock play.
Could be. Which SirLinkalot is now going to open and head into 5 items in Turtle Rock, hoping for that mirror.
And like we said earlier, a Turtle Rock, not really the best go mode dungeon. Depending on the key logic, you might not be able to go mode it at all, even if you had all the items. Swamp, on the other hand, is a great go mode dungeon, and it's going to be a pretty good feeling for these runners to know that they will be able to do that once they get there. Okay, let's see what we got. A small key, another small key. So far, just keys. That's pretty normal in Turtle Rock. The keys tend to be pretty front-loaded.
Yeah, the more you get up front, the less you'll have to worry about later. And it's possible. You may even be able to skip that big chest. Depending on how risky SirLinkalot is thinking, because we know Mirror cannot be in Mimic Cave, so he doesn't really have to go to the outside. And if he winds up with enough keys up front, he could end up skipping big chest.
I don't know if I see anyone doing that when you're still not in go mode, though. Because that could be the item you're looking for. So that would be quite the risk. It's not that far out of the way, and if it is your item and the keys lay out right, you can potentially skip Laser Bridge. But that would be pretty rare with an item there. Yeah, Sawneyrath's going to have to watch his health a little bit here. Does have the powder to get a nice free refill, though.
Also would have picked up the fairy in the bottle in the right side of Misery Mire.
That'll help out, too.
But finds the big key on his way to Vitreous as we get the vanilla big key chest. Just has compass.
Oof. So far, this could have been a pretty decent go mode TR, but unfortunately, we are still looking for a mirror.
And still 5 items available to us. We found the map, found the compass, and found the big key. So, yeah, that the 4 on Laser Bridge plus that big key chest, or sorry, the big chest, are all in play. And there's a key. Good thing he didn't skip it as I was suggesting he might. Quick question in chat. Did we ever return the green pendant to Sahasrara?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think we've seen that yet. So there's another overworld check that we have not seen. Okay, so there will be a key and 3 items on Laser Bridge as we see a heart container in the crystal roller room. That was our first Turtle Rock item.
Sawneyrath up to Vitreous, also equipping those silver arrows. Blinking, you'll miss it. Taking down the small eyeballs before popping 2 silver arrows in the big eyeball for his 5th crystal.
And there's that mirror. And SirLinkalot not gonna... is he gonna check the last one? He might be looking for a sword. But doesn't get it.
Yeah, can't buy a sword with those 50, but gonna have to do Master Sword or Hammered Trinex. He is in go mode at 1 hour 20 minutes some seconds.
So the fact that he checked that location tells me that he is at least going to do the not so out of the way checks. So there are a few checks that aren't too far out of the way in Swamp, but I don't see him doing something like left side. I don't see him going and getting that purple chest and getting that tempered sword that Sawneyrath has.
No, so he's going to have to hope for a sword up in GT, lest he have to fight Ganon with the Master Sword. And Master Sword versus Tempered Sword, Ganon is a much bigger difference than Tempered versus Gold.
Oh, for sure. At least they both do have the silver arrows, so that'll save time in the last part. So SirLinkalot having a little bit of a lead here. Sawneyrath's gonna go. Looks like he's head over to Turtle Rock as well, and we know he'll find his mirror here. But he is a bit behind. Maybe not close enough that the sword difference by itself is gonna do it. But there's still a lot of game to play. Still a lot of execution to be done. There's a whole big key routing to take into consideration. So this is definitely by no means over.
Yeah, a lot of things that could happen between SirLinkalot and Sawneyrath. Using that hammer for that last phase of Trinex takes him down. Crystal number 6, and we're on to a very quick Swamp Palace. We'll see as he goes up, finishes Ganon's Tower and Swamp Palace, how comfortable he is on Master Sword 10 hearts for Ganon. Has the red mail, so fairly good defensively. Maybe just wants that last sword.
Okay, he's gonna go ahead and do Swamp. Like I said, great go mode dungeon. We'll see just how go mode he takes it. Could literally skip everything and do it very quickly, or may do a few checks here and there just to see if he can get a tempered sword out of it.
Yep, 1 chest early on, locked by a bomb. 1 chest a little bit more out of the way in the south of it. If you end up finding a big key in one of those, and well, then you can check the big chest. and then of course the one in the waterfall are probably the ones that are most in your way.
Yep.
I guess you could also count the two sunken treasures as in the way chests, but it's another 2 screens you're gonna have to go through, and both these runners being as close as they are, Linkalot's probably got to think that Sawneyrath has done fairly similar routing to what he's done. The seed didn't open up too terribly much, so
Yeah.
you're gonna have to judge that.
The only major routing difference that we've seen was when they entered the Dark World, SirLinkalot decided to do Skull Woods before doing Thieves Town, whereas Sawneyrath went straight to Thieves Town. That was our boots hint, and that's where the boots were, and then did Skull Woods. Other minor things in terms of when they routed items, but the main difference was just that one. So very, very similar routing from these two runners.
Yeah, and did skip that first bombable wall chest, and bringing out the hook shot, probably not going to pick up any of these chests in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, the only one that's super, super on the way is that one in the waterfall area, so probably going to pick that one up, but the rest of them are quite a bit out of the way in comparison. And we do know we'll get a item on Argus, so we will get at least one item out of this dungeon.
That's right. Yeah, this being Ambrosia, it does have an item. Won't be the map, compass, or a key. Real quick, did you happen to notice what in the world Sawneyrath's bunny sprite was?
I want to see it. I haven't.
It was like a dog. I don't know if it was supposed to be like Spud McKenzie or something.
I'm sad that I missed it. It's always the fun part, is what is that sprite gonna turn into? And just bombs the one easy check. So, and he did check those flooded chests and found, I think, a heart container and a big key. So it doesn't really do him a whole lot of good. Definitely worse things than picking up a heart container, but definitely not what he wanted.
Yeah, the heart container is not going to save you, time on Ganon. Or Argus, for that matter. A tempered sword would really help here, but I'm going to take these one puff at a time.
Yeah, this will be a faster fight for Sawneyrath, be having that tempered sword and be able to kill each puff with one swing instead of two. I didn't even see the silver arrow fire. I'm like, there's no way that you could do that with just a master sword. So then I looked, he had the silver selected, so he had to have fired one.
All right, so that's the 7th crystal. Tracy, are you a fan of games?
Oh, sure, always.
I got a guessing game for you. You want to pick a number here between 1 and 22, and chat, you can play along too. Get your guesses in. Where do you think that big key in the Ganon's Tower is going to be? Pick a number, a real number, integer, whole number, 1 through 22.
Yeah, you can pick any number you want, but just don't expect to win unless it's an integer between 1 and 22. I'm actually a big fan of some of the creative ways that chat can put numbers in. Just unfortunately, they're not winning the game.
Yeah. The bot can only handle certain numbers. Can't really handle words. Can't handle equations. I might as well get my guess in. While I'm thinking of that, do you have a guess?
I always go with 5, just because nice and early, and I've actually gotten it right on 5 a few times, so why not?
All right, and I will choose 8 myself. We'll stop the game just as soon as we see SirLinkalot get into Ganon's Tower. So you've got a few more seconds to get your guesses in.
Meanwhile, Sawneyrath in his Trinex fight. It should be a lot easier for him having that tempered sword.
Yeah, 3 quick swings and he's down.
Alright, SirLinkalot entering Ganon's tower. And let's see which way he goes first. Does decide to start on the right. Check number 1 is a small key. Number 2 is a bomb. We'll see if he continues on. Is going to continue on to the right. Pretty common routing. A lot of players will go to this so-called hope room. If they don't get the big key, but they do get a small key, we'll continue right. Very rarely we'll check the tile room. If those of you that guess 22, we know what you're looking for.
Yeah, quite a few ways that you could route. A couple of common ways. This is certainly one. Check the right first. Sometimes people go left and do what's called like Dark Magician.
Yep.
Do the 4 on the left and then the 6 on the right.
Three is rupees. 4 is piece of heart. 5 is bombs. 6 is the compass. Is going to go grab this small key.
Yeah, you never know where it's going to be in Ganon's tower, so pick up that key because you'll need at least one heading up the top.
And no surprise, almost nobody ever goes full right anymore, so we are going to see a mirror out to go to the left. And 7 is a small key on the torch.
Sawneyrath also not wasting any time in Swamp Palace, heading straight for the main area to hookshot back to Argus.
8, another small key. 9, bombs. And 10 is the big key. And shoutouts to, yeah, I can't say that. Aerosway?
Aerosway?
Yeah, for winning the big key guess the game. And shoutouts to Phoenix Archer, who also guessed right, but didn't quite do it first. And I don't expect Sawneyrath to even check the items that SirLinkalot did. It has that tempered sword, so it doesn't need to worry about swords or anything. So in the end, there's just a few extra checks that Sawneyrath did that SirLinkalot didn't, that kind of made the difference here. A little bit of routing. So, like for instance, doing Spiral Cave before Tower of Hera did lose him a little bit of time. But otherwise, a pretty close match here.
Yeah, this is definitely a close match. Now all it takes is for Linkalot to get through the gauntlet. Sawneyrath close behind, about to head to Argus and pick up that last crystal. This is the first of 2 games between the two this week, I believe. Let me check the schedule real quick.
I think the teams played each other already.
They must have, yes. So this will be the last Ambrosia game for the 2 of them. Still plenty of things coming up on the league schedule. Week 2 will wrap up by Sunday, and then Monday starts week 3. Week 3 is going to be Randomizer, and I believe it's a full boss shuffle Randomizer. Plenty of interesting setups can happen, and it's going to be different every time, different every game. So be sure to tune into those.
All right, Sawneyrath finishing up his Argus fight. And we'll head up to GT. I do see that SirLinkalot has at least one blue bottle there in his inventory. So this is a pretty safe setup for him. Master Sword's gonna be slow, but he should be fine doing it.
Yeah, the only other thing he could hope for is
300 rupees not gonna do you much good here, though.
All right, 2 more chances for it to be a sword for SirLinkalot. Otherwise, he's doing Master Sword Ganon. Well, there's his shield.
That shield he avoided way back at, I believe it was a dig game. They just left there. The game says, nope, we're gonna make sure you get a shield.
You will take it, and you will like it.
And Moldorm 2 gonna take him a little bit more time because of that Master Sword. You don't need to spin with Master Sword, but it's definitely advisable. It avoids the enraged part. And we do just see a cape there, so we are not getting a Master Sword. Or sorry, we're not getting a Tempered Sword here. Cape will be nice for a little extra safety if he wants to use it during the spins in the early stages.
All right, before that, though, we do have to hit Aga 2 with a few of these energy balls. Got to get the setup just right if you want to get more than 1 hit. First round is a double for him.
Unfortunately, I think that second one was only a single. Oh, and Sawneyrath doing a little bit of interesting routing. Grabs that small key and just goes to the door. This will get him his big key a lot faster because he's going to get it in the Stalfos room.
Yep, gonna make up quite a bit of time there not going, but unless something happens to SirLinkalot, he's got quite a lead here heading into Ganon as Sawneyrath about to pick up that big key. But does have to take his time, charge the sword spins, because Master Sword will only hit Ganon if you charge it up.
Always a little funny how the game makes such a big deal about getting that Master Sword, and it doesn't actually hurt the big boss at the end unless you do something special extra.
Quick spin and a quick retreat. Playing it safe, not taking his chances here.
Yeah, pulls out the cape in case he needs it.
And with this, he can actually get 2 spins at once, get into phase 3 pretty quickly after this round of bats.
And he does have at least 1 blue bottle, as we said before, so he will be able to refill that magic.
Yeah, you can't hit Ganon unless he stops phasing around
Ganon,
the room.
Please. That is a lot of work. I don't know if anybody counted that, but that was a lot.
I don't think it was quite 10, but it was close. Alright, Ganon slowing down just enough for Linkalot to hit him. Has his 3rd hit on phase 4. phase 3. Pulls out the silvers, going for a very early silver hit, gets the torch glitch, and now just 3 more hits of those silver arrows.
And that's it.
All right, SirLinkalot, just 1 tile away from the Triforce room. Get your GGs in chat. SirLinkalot is going to take this second game of the week against Sawneyrath.
Crossing that bridge and finishing up with an official SRL time of 1:39:10. GG's to SirLinkalot.
Sawneyrath not too far behind, up in the torch room of Ganon's tower. Only minutes away from taking on Ganon himself, but we'll see if we can get Linkalot up into the interview room with us.
And here he is. GG, SirLinkalot.
Thank you.
So, how hard were you looking for that sword in the end?
It was more like it would have been a nicety to see the tempered sword, but I was already reserved at that point to doing master sword. So
Yeah, we never did find a 4th sword, but I don't know if your opponent has told you in SRL, but yeah, purple chest was his tempered.
yeah, he told me that, and when he told me that, I'm like, yeah, I isolated purple chest basically to where that was like a solo thing, and I was not going back for that anytime soon.
Yeah, especially with Ori doing most of the Smith chain, the parts he did, not having the mirror, it's never fun.
Yeah, mirror go mode is not a fun thing.
Let's talk real quick about Thieves Town. So we knew that's where the booths were, and Sawneyrath had done it first. You went into Skull Woods before going in there. Any reason you put that off?
I just felt like, I mean, I knew where boots were. I just felt like I could already finish Skull Woods, and going to get the boots and then going back up to Skull Woods just to do a south route wasn't really going to save me that much time, if any at all. So I was just like, I'll finish Skull Woods while I'm here.
Sure.
Maybe I get something to make it easier, because I'm still sitting, I think I was still sitting at 4 hearts at the time.
It was 4 or 5, but yeah, it was pretty low heart Mothula fight. I do gotta ask, so if it'd been me, I would have left after getting those boots. Thank goodness neither one of you did that. So what made you go to the back and get those mitts?
It was a green pendant. that was the main thing. Only 2 items in the front. I'm just like, so there's 3 items in the back, and
Sure.
one's a green pendant. And I already went into a pendant dungeon and came up empty. So I was like, I need to do something else at this point, because if he skipped Eastern because it was a pendant, I need to try to make up time. And I was like, I'll make a gamble on Thieves Town at this point.
Yeah, for sure. He also gambled on Eastern. You were pretty much in there at about the same time, so probably both of you felt pretty bad doing that.
Yeah, actually, this was a very close match for quite a while. I think it was after you started to do Misery Mire is when it started to open up for you.
Yeah, I would say your routing through Death Mountain was a little bit cleaner. Plus a few extra checks that Sawneyrath did that you didn't.
I actually messed my routing up going to Misery Mire, because when I fluted there, I was like, I'm gonna do Desert first, then I'll have full magic and everything from Misery Mire, and I just muscle memoried the stone, and as soon as I jumped in, I'm just like, oh well, Misery Mire first, I guess.
Yeah, probably were, always thinking, hey, I can mirror to Desert, but nope, not today. So yeah.
I wasn't even thinking. That's like,
you weren't thinking that?
Nope, I didn't even have mirror. My thought was, I'm gonna go to Desert Palace and then just muscle memory grab the rock, and just like, well, I can't mirror. I'm like, hopefully we'll find the mirror in Misery Mire, because then I'll be in go mode. And yeah, it wasn't there. So I was like, okay, save and quit. Let's go do Desert, like I was going to the first time.
Yeah, you both stayed at Ice Palace, so I mean, there's something.
Yeah, Ice Palace. I was gonna do one-off checks before going to Ice Palace because I felt like if he did Ice Palace, if he made like mistakes or something like that, Ice Palace is a really good gamble at
Mhm.
that point. So I was like, I'll just do one-off checks that I've kind of skipped or left behind at this point. If I wouldn't have found in Turtle Rock, I probably would have went to Magic Bat and then to the 5/6 Crystal or to the Big Bomb.
And Sawneyrath finishing up his Ganon fight with an official SRL time of 1:43:52. GG's to Sawneyrath. Looks like he's going to join us as well. And here he is.
Welcome, Sawneyrath.
I don't
GG's.
hear anything 'cause I'm waiting for my headset to turn on. Okay, I should be able to hear stuff now.
Can you
How's
hear
that?
me?
Yes.
All right.
All right, GG's.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. So many movement flubs because of my thumb not being in the right spot on the D-pad.
Ooh,
I'm not sure if we noticed.
no, not at all.
Actually, for most of this seed, as we were just talking with Linkalot, the two of you were almost in lockstep, and it was maybe about the time he went up the Dark Death Mountain and did Misery Mire. After that was when it started to diverge a little bit, but you both played very well.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I saw some of your boss kills. Saw some different setups that were really, really nice. So really cool to see those.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, like the Armos nice starting on the. I've never seen anyone start on the left side like that before, so that was pretty cool. Cool to see.
Yeah, that's actually how I learned to quick kill Armos, is start on the bottom left and then move my way right.
But yeah, like Lumaga said, not a whole lot of difference. The biggest difference early was you did Thieves Town, then Skullwoods. SirLinkalot did Skullwoods, then Thieves Town. Other than that, it was mostly you just did a few extra overworld checks, a little less efficient routing through Death Mountain. And
Actually,
yeah.
he did Desert Palace much earlier than
Yes, you did.
than Linkalot.
Yeah, with Desert Palace, that was a tough call because Mirror hadn't been found until we went into Turtle Rock. So it was, do I go ahead and knock out Desert Palace now, or do I wait until I have a Mirror and then do both Mire and Desert Palace if I have access to Mire?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe I didn't have Bombos at that point either, so I wouldn't have been able to access Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you all went up to the mountain. I believe it was you had to pick up the mushroom on Death Mountain to get your bombos. Actually, your mushroom on Death Mountain, your flippers on Death Mountain to get your bombos at the witch's hut, and your quake in the waterfall. Granted, you could have fake flipper to the waterfall, but at that point there was no reason to do that. You had other things to do.
Yeah, I've actually been bit a lot as of late from breaking logic, so I've been sticking more in logic than going out of logic. For the most part, the only out of logic stuff I do is dark rooms anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because lamp can be in. Yeah, logically that. What was it? Your flute was in a pod, so logically you had to go to pod to get your flute, to go to Death Mountain to get your lamp, to go back to pod. So no.
Yeah, no.
Definitely don't want to do that.
I have to agree there. And with Fire Rod actually being able to light torches and that being in logic now, it's really, really nice.
Yeah, and especially the most difficult room in pod being that turtle room, in my opinion. Being able to light the torch with that fire rod, even though that room's not in logic because the ones around it. That one being the hard one.
So I got a question for both of you, SirLinkalot and Sawneyrath. Any thoughts on ambrosia, just as as kind of a concept, or as the type of seed? Because it's a bit different from just a regular open 7/7.
As for me, I like Ambrosia. I mean, the boots hint is really nice, but I like the idea that you really have to kind of adapt quickly with dungeon routing depending on items you find. Because like Eastern Palace was completely within logic, and all 3 items were accessible because of the fire rod, and knowing that the item was on Armos, it kind of. That's one of the reasons I put Desert off so long, because it's like I don't have boots, I don't have a glove, so it's like I can't kill Lanmolas, and I might be locked out of it, and then that's where Dark World access basically.
Yeah, the whole Dark World package outside of Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I have to echo what Linkalot said. I mean, being able to route on the fly with dungeons definitely means a lot in Ambrosia, and Standard is really what I love the most. So being able to play Standard, have the boot hint, which, boots could always be in a trolley location. Looking at you, Mimic Cave, specifically.
I sense experience on that one.
Maybe. But no, it's being able to route on the fly with getting items from dungeons, the bosses, being able to access so many things potentially so fast. I love this mode. I absolutely love this mode.
Yeah, definitely has a lot of love from the community. So really good on the kind of it as a concept as a whole. Wanted to also ask about upcoming games. This was the last game of week 2 for you, so that finished the Ambrosia seeds. But next week we've got Randomizer, and so Sawneyrath, looks like your team is going to face Old Swagga Jackson, and SirLinkalot, you guys are going to face Talking Heads. Any thoughts from either of you guys on Randomizer, and who should we expect to see next week?
As far as my team, I'm pretty sure my team, we've got both matches scheduled. It's going to be Nilson, Alex, and myself are running for my team next week.
Nice.
Yeah, as for my team, Siberian Bull and Dark Raid are both going to be running, and I'm not sure if they have those scheduled. I've got the next 3 weeks off because my team decided to give me the first 2 weeks and the last 2 weeks.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else either of you want to add before we wrap this up?
I do have one minor
Go for
note,
it.
is that I think I understand why Linkalot did not pick up that sword, that third sword. He got 11 Master Sword kills. He really wants to pump up his his fantasy points.
Oh, is that a fantasy point thing? Oh.
I never even drafted myself.
Ah.
I'm sure whoever has you on their team appreciates it. But that's about it for me. Tracy, anything else?
Well, we do have one other match on the schedule today, so not done with Randomizer yet. Actually, already starting on Speed Gaming, we have Hyrule Track and Field versus one of my favorite names, Forfeiters Are Us. That'd be TabbyCat54 versus Recidador. I'm hoping I said that correctly. So join Antissim and Worldwide Wimpy on the call there. Ton of matches tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. A Link to the West Coast versus the Missing Bow, or just Missing Bow, as Zeitnix versus Tal. And I'll actually be back on the mic with Bigfoot08 tomorrow, so looking forward to that. But a whole lot of matches still to come this weekend. And then, like you said, we'll be moving on to Randomizer on Monday.
Yep, so congrats to Get Good and SirLinkalot on the win. Very good game from you as well, Sawneyrath, and hope to see both of your teams next week in Randomizer.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, so that'll do it for us. Thanks a lot to our tracker, Ed the Ump, and my co-commentator, Tracy M. Thanks to all of you for coming in and watching us on this Friday the 13th. Everyone stay safe out there. Have a good weekend, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah. Thank you all. Thanks to you too, Umaga, and to our tracker, at AMP, and of course to the runners. And be sure to follow everybody as I just put the links in chat. And we'll see you next time.